Hey, Megan. You okay over there?
No, how are you, Steph?
I think I'm doing better than you are. You're all right over there?
I'm just excited because we have Terry.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
Terry.
Hey, how's it going, ladies?
Terry. All
Us
right,
crazy ladies are raring to go.
we're
All right.
ready. So, everybody who's watching, let me introduce Terry. We have Terry Kluever. He grew up running gymkana events, dabbling in rodeo. I did not know this about you. Then you attended the UW-Madison and then became a professional horse trainer and developed your horse career. Started as a breeding manager for UW-Arabians while taking lessons with Steve and Arlene Saunders. Did I say that right?
Yep.
And then from there, you went to colt starting with one of the top quarter horse trainers in the country. After that, you started your own business in Illinois,
Yep.
where your customers focused on success locally in 4-H as well as nationally. Over the past 40 years, you have worked with the best quarter horse people. And have shown throughout the United States and Canada. You began judging in 1990 and have judged county fairs, 4-H fairs, open shows across Illinois, Wisconsin, as well as Michigan. And in 2019, you were selected as Horse Person of the Year by the Wisconsin State Council. Woohoo! Congratulations.
Hey, thanks. So, just a little humor to that because, 2020 they couldn't have horse fair because of COVID.
Yep.
So, I was the only horse person reigning for 2 years in a row.
Woohoo!
Because you can only win it once. That's my little joke for that. But
That's awesome, but not because of COVID. But what
right.
A funny story.
Right.
All right, where do we start, Steph? Do you have a question?
I think we start at the beginning.
Okay.
So, how did you get into rodeo? Where were you? Where was your family living? Was it high school rodeo? Tell us that.
In Oregon here, right over here. I grew up here. This is the family farm. We grew up, like I said, doing the gymkana stuff. My oldest brother got into the roping and stuff, so we did little britches and stuff. I was at a disadvantage because I was left-handed. So my brother was a good roper and could teach people, but he couldn't teach the left-handed person. So he just handed the rope to me and said, figure out for yourself. So we did the little britches and stuff. And then by the time 9th grade, I'm like, yeah, the bulls got big horns and they're big. I'm done. I'll stick to barrel racing and saving my body.
I think that's a smart move. Can you tell me what gymkana is for it?
Barrels, which you should have one now that you got a barrel and a pole horse. So barrels, poles, all that kind of stuff.
I'm on it. I need you to come over and teach me a few lessons because I don't have a clue.
All right.
You should go chase cows over there, Megan, with your new cow cutting horse.
Hey, we could take that one down to Broadhead. There's a lady down there that does the ranch stuff. And she used to have like 30-minute sessions. Like you could come in and like just expose your horses to cows and stuff. So that's not too far away. Have to check that out. Nice lady.
I need to get to know my horse a little bit more.
Wait a minute. You've got one that can do it.
Which
how
one?
much better do you need to know him?
Well, the new one,
AJ.
The new quarter horse. Oh, AJ, yeah, he can do anything. He's seen cows.
Right. Well, there you go. See?
He's fine with cows, but the new quarter horse, no.
Well, maybe he's got the bloodlines. Maybe he was a cow bred.
I don't know. I'll give you the papers. I'll send you a picture of the papers and you can tell me. Then we can check it out. I don't have a clue, but he's a perfect lunch horse.
Nice.
Okay. Now I want to know what it takes to be a breed manager.
Well, you fill out the application and no one else does. No, I actually started over there, just part-time cleaning stalls when I was going to school. The lady that was the breeding manager there, she was pregnant, and when she was going to have her baby, she didn't want to be the breeding manager anymore. So they asked me to take over because I knew the horses and everything. So it was a great opportunity. They had all of their horses were imported from Spain. They were Spanish Arabians. They had a couple that they bred for national show horses. They got one, as a matter of fact, from Wayne Newton himself. So, yeah, and all of their mares in Spain were national champion halter horses. So,
and how many horses, how many stallions, how many mares, and what was the purpose? Like they bred them to breed, or did they keep them? Did you train them?
They resold. They tried reselling them, and there was 2 stallions. One was older one that came from Spain. Malikatoa was his name. And then there was the one that they got from Wayne Newton. Nice gray horse. I kept telling him he doesn't want to be an English pleasure horse. He wants to be country English pleasure or Western, but he just didn't have the action to be, like you saw at the Saddlebred show. He just didn't have that kind of action. And then when I was there, Ron and Pat Miller. Okay. So Ron and Pat Miller were members of our speed club that we belonged to. Plus they were my teachers. So they had their horses in training with Jack Bound, and he was looking for someone to come in. So they asked me if I was interested, and I said, yep. And that's all she wrote.
Boy, is it a small world. Yeah, we had Ron on this spring. We cornered him at Horse Fair, and he was gracious enough to give us some moments, and we had a nice interview with him. That was a lot of fun. So it's amazing what a small world it is.
Yep. Great group. Great people. Ron and Pat are great people.
Yeah. So were you riding and training the young Arabians at JW?
Well, they were mostly just for halter breaking and stuff like that. I did have one that was out of an Egyptian mare and other Spanish, and I broke him and took him to a show as a 2-year-old, which in the Arab was like, oh, no. And we ended up 5th out of 17, first time away from the thing. And then everyone, after they found out he was sold too, was like, oh my God, that horse is so broke. So they sold him, and unfortunately, the Spanish Arabians aren't like your typical Arabs. They're not real petite and long. They're more, to me, they were more like the workhorse Arabs. They were more Westerny and stuff like that. So they didn't, unfortunately, their breeding business didn't last too long.
That's a shame. I know Megan and I are well aware of it because, growing up in the area as kids, we always heard about it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a shame because, yeah, they had nice horses. So, okay. So after JW, where did you go to next? And what did you do?
I went to Jack Bound in Jefferson.
And can we expound on that? Like maybe not everybody, we know what the bounds are, but maybe.
Jack was a very good quarter horse trainer. He did everything from youth kids to reiners to he showed one in the hunter hack in the English. He was one of the only. He was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the first guys to surpass either $250,000 or $1 million in fraternity money. So, and his boys, he was a good roper. His boys were good ropers. So I just basically got to get on him and take the buck out.
So you traded the bulls bucking for horses bucking.
Yep, any day.
Yeah, in theory, a little bit less dangerous, although that depends on the day.
Yep.
What advice would you give to a young professional that are thinking about starting colts?
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
No. There's actually, I think there's a great need for a good colt starter. My best advice is to go and talk to different trainers, talk to different people, and see what your niche is, and as far as how some people want them broke this way, some people want them broke that way. You got to find a system that works best for you, and also keep your customers happy.
I think there's always a need for good colt starters because I didn't want to get on the young horses anymore when I hit a certain age because instead of bouncing, I kind of went flat.
Right.
And it hurt.
Yep.
So there is that for sure. So what drew you into the world of judging?
When I was working down in Rockford, the people I was working for, and I was leasing stalls from, some of their friends were in charge of the Lake County Fair in Illinois and said, "Hey, how would you like to be a judge for us?" All right, sure. Sign me up. And that's where it started.
Do you end up apprenticing with the judges, or
I did not.
Curious. Okay.
I did not.
Did you? Is there a program you had to enroll in? I know Wisconsin Horse Council now has I think a pretty good program.
Yeah, I didn't at the time. I was living in Illinois. They have, but I never, up until I think about 6 years ago, was the first time I got certified through the Wisconsin Horse Council. So the whole time I was training in Illinois, I was judging pretty much along the border of Illinois.
And what kind of shows were you judging? Breed shows, open shows, 4-H?
Open shows, 4-H shows, county fairs. And in Illinois, their county fairs, they give money because they're open shows. So it costs you like $5 to enter, and you could win 50 to 100 on down to like 4th or 5th place. So
wow,
they have a good system down there.
Do they still operate those shows in that manner?
Yes. Okay. But it's one of those things, kind of like a lot of the shows, no one wants, all the people that were running them are older, retired, passed away, and no one wants to take on that task of organizing it and getting everything ready and stuff like that.
You don't see any new people coming up and volunteering? Nothing?
No.
Really?
No.
How do we make that change? How do we get younger people involved?
That's a good question. If I had the answer, I just think nowadays it's with all the sports that are out there, and parents can't just go take a weekend to go to a horse show because there's soccer, there's football, there's track, there's baseball, there's swimming, and a lot of the kids, they don't, if they miss a practice, they're done. They sit on the bench. So they have to choose between the horses and I just don't think the people are out there that, I mean, they want to go to the shows and stuff, but they're so busy with their own lives that they just can't. I credit Ashley Carlson because I don't know how she does it.
I was just going to bring her up.
Giving as many lessons as she does, and running the horse shows and going to horse shows and everything.
Now, Steph and I saw you. You were judging. What was that weekend called? The Oregon Equestrian Show Team. And so
fundraiser.
Now, is she organizing the show? I mean, because I was shocked to see all of those kids riding and participating. Is she creating a program where those kids are helping? Like, how did that work?
I think she kind of created the show because at the time, a lot of the shows in the area were fizzing out. Like Triple K used to have a ton of shows. They don't have any. A lot of the places just weren't having, because either the clubs aren't existing anymore, or they just don't have the shows. Like the Oregon Horse Association, for instance, they put on a lot of horse shows. They don't do that just because they don't have the members to put on the shows. So I think Ashley created these shows as a way to get her kids out and get, her kids exposure competing against other than kids in her own barn. And it facilitated a need, because there's other people who are like, awesome, horse show, let's go,
Yeah, and we're real fortunate in the Oregon area that that Manch Equestrian Center is available for rental. And honestly, they could run 2 show rings, because they could still use that third arena as a makeup pen. So, I mean, they could have a really good sized show there. But that was, I thought, I mean, Megan, we kind of came in at an awkward time, but there was a lot of horses. It was great to see.
Yep, and it was nice because she had she puts on a series. She has like one a month. So her series show was on Saturday, and then the fundraiser one was on Sunday. So a lot of people just stayed over,
Yeah, and it's great the facility can accommodate people, have stalls that they can rent. People can do that. I mean, it looked, and they had a really nice layout for raffle items, and it was a very nice fundraiser. We unfortunately didn't get to see the open show portion on Saturday, but again, we caught you on Sunday for the fundraiser.
Yep. So she gets for the fundraiser, she got like the parents of the kids that were showing there. They put in like a 2-hour shift, either working the gate or being ring steward, or just helping keeping the show flowing, setting up the trail course, setting up Hunter Hack, So she's got a great group of parents also, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, Terry, we have a question. How many years have you been judging shows 4-H and open?
Since 1990.
That's 35 years. Excellent.
35 years.
So what have you seen change in, I mean, that's a good span, because I mean, I remember showing as a kid at a lot of open shows and stuff. And then, I kind of got directed away and was doing like Megan, the dressage and stuff. But I think the horses have changed a lot, but what else have you seen change?
Well, when I started, like you said, the shows were big. They were huge. You could go find a show every weekend to go to something every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, again, a lot of clubs dismantled. So they are no longer in existence. So those shows went bye-bye. I think economics plays a big factor in this, and like I said, before it was you know, the whole family would go, or, mom and the daughter would go and dad and but the girls want to go out for sports. And so they have to choose, so they can't take as much time to go to as many shows.
Right. And what do you like about judging? Like, what keeps you judging? Because I know for me, I went through the L program in the sport of dressage, and I do not like it. And it made me so grateful to judges. I enjoyed the education, but I do not like judging people.
I like it because I think I'm honest. I think I can judge a class of mixed breeds. I at a couple shows when I was first starting, I was up in Green Bay judging a horse show, and it was an open show. And there's a girl. There was 2 Arabs in the class, and the rest were all quarter horse paints. And the dad was really loud, and his daughter kept messing up. She'd get behind me, and she thought she could school her horse and fix her horse. Well, she missed a couple leads. Her horse blew up a couple times, and so I didn't place her. Well, her dad got real loud. Oh, he's just doesn't like Arabs and blah, blah, blah. And then she went in her next class. She missed the lead. And I just turned around and looked at him and kind of shook my head, because he knew that's why your daughter didn't place. And then he got real quiet and was humble the rest of the day. So, and I think that's another reason too, that the shows are starting, that the expense of like the show clothes, the show saddle, the horse itself is even getting more expensive, but everything else to go along with it. If you have to have a trainer, a trailer, truck, board is crazy. Back when we're, but back then, we could rough board ours and take ours to a horse show, and everyone all looked the same.
So how hard is it to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I enjoy it. I enjoy, like you might see a kid struggling, or because the horse was naughty, or just this, maybe their first time or something. All they need is a little bit of encouragement, just a couple words. Hey, you did this really, really good, or this really good. Next time you'll be as good as them. You just keep working on it.
We've got a question again from the audience. What is your opinion of everyone wins and qualifies to show at the state 4-H show?
I won't comment on that. When my kids were that I was helping, they had to qualify. They had to get a blue, get a red. At some of the breed shows, like the Palomino, for instance, they had to qualify to go to the World. They don't have to do that anymore. Just because the numbers got so small, I think they had to do something to keep the numbers up there.
That's that's immediately what my thought went to, is the fact that just because people qualify doesn't mean they're going to show up. And then if you got a state show where, let's say, 3/4 of the people who qualified don't show up, that's not really a state show. So that's a shame. It's just kind of semantics, I guess.
And of course, when my kids were showed at the state 4-H, no trainers were allowed in the ground, in the stands, nothing. If they saw like a trainer coaching a kid, they were done.
Oh, why?
Because it's a 4-H show. It's for the kids. It's the kids' project.
Okay. I've always had a trainer, so I don't.
Yep.
I don't understand not having a trainer, eyes on the ground. So okay, that's very helpful.
that's just one of the rules they used to have,
Okay,
you know.
cool.
But in the same instance, when I showed at the fair 150 years ago, we were only allowed to show in 4 classes, 2 premium, and the other 2 were non-premium. That's it. We didn't show all day. We picked the 4 classes we wanted to show in. That was it.
And
now it's, you know, they can show in a lot more, and you know, it's hard. Dane County has a great group of horse kids. I judged Iowa County. They had 13 horses.
wow. Now,
Columbia County had 6.
Oh, that's sad. Now, they can go in any class. So, like for the sport of dressage, we can only enter 3 classes, and that's under FEI, right? 3 classes in a day. How many classes? It's unlimited that they can enter.
Yep. So they can show halter, showmanship, dressage, you know, depending on what goes on that day, ranch, you know.
To me, that sounds like a lot for a horse. What do you think as a judge? I mean, to enter that many classes.
I think it's a lot because, first of all, they're up there for 4 days. They're on concrete. The footing isn't the best up there. It makes for some crabby people, makes for some crabby horses. I can give you a little story about when I showed at Dane County Fair. Now, mind you, they didn't have gymkana classes up there. So I took my gymkana horse and went and showed in the halter and showmanship. I don't know. Put a halter on, put a hat on, go in. So I was competing against kids that did it every weekend. My horse got 3rd blue out of 16 horses. The judge came up, and then I had to go back in for grand and reserve. And he said if I would have stood my horse up better, I could have went grand. But that's not the story. So I was out riding him around just bareback. One of my friends who shows dairy hopped on and rode him. I almost got disqualified because I let someone else ride my horse up there. She, not a trainer. She doesn't ride. She doesn't even really particularly like horses, but she hopped on and they said, get her off now or you're done. I thought the fair was about having fun and having a good time, you know, but that's my story. I have one about the state 4-H too, but you probably don't want to hear that one.
I have a story.
Okay.
I actually judged, and I'm not a judge. They had asked me to judge the dressage, and it was a great experience. I saw a lot of horses spinning, all the things, right? And then in comes, it's like a effervescent partnership, and she was riding, I think, a paint. It was colored, I don't know. Cute, tiny little girl. Rode the test, won the class. She was just amazing skill, amazing talent. Okay, show's over. I'm done. I'm not a judge. I'm not coming back the next day. I love the fair. I started walking through the barns. I see the girl. And I was like, hey, congratulations. You were amazing. Tell me about yourself. What have you been doing? How long have you been riding dressage? And she was like, just today. And I was like, please come and train with me. You're so talented. She's like, no, I have no interest in that. I like Western. And I was like, no. But it was really fun. And it was fun for her. You know, she got to try a different sport. She wasn't interested in it, but she was so talented. Tell me one of your greatest judging moments.
Was yesterday. I went down to the Smiles Therapeutic program, and they had their superstar horse show. So these kids, there was 42 of them, have been working all summer and working on this pattern, and they asked me to come down and judge. I admire the Smiles program. They used to put on an open show. I donated my time. They used to have one of the biggest horse shows in the area. They used to have 40 to 50 in a class, which takes forever. But again, for them, the show started falling off, and so they quit having it. So I went down there and I told them I would be honored. So went down there. These kids did their pattern. They went into a 2-point over poles. They weaved in and out cones. They fast walked. They slow walked. Some of them did it off the lead. Some did it on the lead. All of them smiling, having a good time. Best group of kids ever. And then at the end, everyone got a trophy. Everyone got a medallion. And I must add, I coerced some of my friends. I texted them and said, hey, I'm going down there. Y'all send me some money. So I had some friends send me some money. And when it was all said and done, we donated $500 to them. So I have some great friends also. I wonder if they're listening. All 2 of them.
Well, hopefully they are. We do have another question from Jennifer. She says, so what do you suggest to bring back the momentum and interest in showing horses again? And I think that's the $1 million question, right?
Right. It's funny, but because I went up to the Wisconsin State Quarter Horse Show, and I haven't been to a quarter horse show in probably 6 or 7 years. I ran into one of the ladies. She's one of the best hunter on her saddle showers and trainers in the country. She lives up by Green Bay in the summer, and then they go down to Florida. And I was talking to her about that same thing, because the quarter horse shows, I think they had 4 this year. One got canceled because they just didn't have the stall reservations. And we talked about this. And I said, part of it is the expense of even the ground rental. I mean, it's hard to find a facility to rent, because no one really likes. Back in the day, we showed outside, hoped it didn't rain. If it rained, we canceled and came back at it twofold the next day. Now everyone wants to show indoors. And I asked her that same question. What are they going to do? At least in a lot of the quarter horse, because there's so much money in fraternities and stuff like that, that's where your big trainers are going. And there's not a lot of trainers up and coming in the state. They're all getting up there, not as old as me, but they're getting up there in age. And so it's like a lot of them will winter in Florida, or, they're gone a lot to horse shows. So, if for the local person, it's hard to find someone to work with them and their horse. I've seen on Facebook, there's a lady that's advertising that does virtual lessons. That's a novel idea. You get hooked up with her. She gives you a little GoPro camera or something, and then she watches you do it, and she tells you need to do this or fix that, and but she said the same thing. She said that these state organizations and stuff have to figure something out, or there's not going to be any. Well, I know when back in the day, when I was working for a guy, he would go to Florida and spend the month of January in Florida. But he lived in Janesville. He would come back and he would spend all summer going to the Wisconsin shows, because you never know when you might pick up another customer, but he's also supporting his state. And nowadays, there's so many big fraternities in Ohio, in Florida, in Arizona, Oklahoma. It's hard to get them here, you know.
I think we're seeing a lot less showing at 4-H, and I think, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, we're seeing a more breed specific shows, the Arabian shows, the quarter horse shows, the saddlebred shows, whereas, you know, maybe I'm wrong here, but you're seeing the bigger entries are there because people are actually showing within their breed, and they've got, you don't think so? Is it really
No.
dropped off?
Nope.
Oh, that's a shame.
Nope. I think just the opposite. Because people can go to an open show and pay $8 entry fee or a $10 office charge. They can show all day. They can have fun. They can, you know, they can go for a high point. You know, a lot of shows have pretty good awards. You know, the quarter horse, you might pay $25 for an entry fee, and you might get a ribbon. You know, and then one of my friends, she showed up there. She showed in 2 showmanship classes and a horsemanship class with her stall and shavings and everything for the week from Wednesday to Sunday. It cost her $600. You know how many horse shows you can go to, open shows you can go to for $600? But it, you know, everyone's different, you know. Some people only want to do the open shows. Some people only want to do the breed shows. You know, before, I think back in the day, the open shows were kind of like a good place to start. And then you stepped up to breed shows or the dressage or, you know. And I will tell you, dressage for me was the hardest thing for me to judge. Just because, what's a 20-meter circle? You know? And I'm just like, okay. And it's like when I do like horsemanship or equitation or showmanship, there's a certain pattern, you know. When I judged, they had 3 different patterns that they could choose from. So one girl would be doing this one, and then the next girl would do this next pattern, and then so I had to kind of learn 3 different patterns, and then it's like, and it was like, and it was boom, 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 you know. So to it wasn't probably if I would have done it more, it was okay. I survived it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because it took me out of my comfort zone. But you know, plus for me, I like to be like down where the action is. You know, I sat up there by the announcer stand, and they came in, and so you can't see all the little tricks that they're doing, and you know. That's what I have to say about dressage. I love watching dressage. I love watching Megan do her stuff. I still think AJ should be a barrel horse, but
okay, I went to a barrel racing competition. AJ would be like 40 seconds. These girls are like at 12.
I think AJ, if you let him run, I think he would run.
Do you know AJ?
Yes, I do know AJ.
AJ will stop for anything.
Just food.
He wants cuddles and food and minty muffins. He does not want to run. Okay. Tell me what the worst moment in your judging career was and why.
My worst one. Probably I did a big oops human error. It was probably 25 years ago. It was a showmanship class. This boy came out, laid a pattern. Fabulous pattern. The rest of the people came and did theirs, came for the placings. did not place the boy. And they came up after the show and said, hey, we just want to know what the boy did wrong in the showmanship. And I went back and looked at my things and went, that's your number there, isn't it? And they're like, yep. You could have knocked me over with a feather because I felt so bad because, first of all, he was one of the only boys that was doing it. And second of all, he was like hands, and I just felt awful. They were cool about it. You know, they're just like, it happens.
You mean
Human
judges
error.
are human? You make
Some aren't.
mistakes?
Some aren't.
Okay, we got a question. How much training goes into barrel racing?
A lot. A lot and a lot and a lot. It's not just getting him to run around the barrels. It's finding the right spot going into the barrel and working on their lead changes and being able to rate them going into the barrels and stuff like that. A lot goes into, it's not just saddle up and go around 3 barrels. Lot. As does every training. So I have a question for you, ladies. One of my friends is trying to get on, and she said she can't because it says restricted use.
She can't use your link. She's got to go on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I sent her the live stream one.
Okay, she should. Yep. Well, you might have. That's interesting. Tell her to close out of the program and go back in. She goes to our website, click on the live. She should be able to join right in.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, if she was able to see this, she'd hear that. But
she was probably just one that wanted to heckle me, anyways.
Yeah, get her on. We need to heckle you. Yeah, tell her get on Barn Besties. Just Google Barn Besties and click the live button. Even I can do it. Right, Steph?
Even Mumsy's on. Mumsy's watching. Uh-oh. Terry disappeared on us.
Did we lose him?
Nope, I'm here.
We don't see you. We don't see you.
You're now a giant black screen, Terry, but we can hear you.
This is the best live stream ever.
Fade to black.
Yeah, you definitely. Looks like the sun just instantly turned off at your place. You know, it's funny that oopsie he had. I judged a show one time. I had the same thing, and it actually, it completely freaked me out and kind of turned me off. But I was so disappointed in myself for missing a kid who should have placed, and I didn't place because it was a class of about 25, and that just kicked my butt, and I was like, man, I don't know if I got it in me because it hurt me to like miss this kid. She was good.
I can give you another story. There was a ex-friend of mine. She thought she wanted to go back to judging, so I ring stewarded with her. She was the judge. I was the ring steward. She got halfway through the show and she said, I really don't think I'm cut out for this. You've got to help me. I'm just the ring steward. You've got this. You took the contract. No, you have to help me with the horsemanship and stuff. Nope. You're on your own. You took this, maybe you should have ring stewarded or. That's all I have to say about that one.
So let's say I want to be a judge. Would you be open to having me pal around, follow you around? Anyone who's interested in judging, they could give you a call and learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Always.
And you highly recommend it.
Yes. If you go to the Wisconsin Horse Council, they have a judges directory. And if you contact probably 82.3% of those judges on there and say, look, I'm thinking I might want to do the judging. Can I come along and be a junior judge with you? They'll say, sure, I'm judging here. come on along, meet me there. Just let the show management know that there's going to be a junior judge with, and so that the exhibitors aren't confused as to who they're judging to or showing to or whatever, you know. But yeah, the Wisconsin Horse Council has a good program. Once a year, they have a judges seminar, and they get people from all over to come and talk about various topics. And then they issue the test, and then you do some live judging, and then you can become a junior judge because you have to judge so many. And then
I'll tell you what baffles me. Megan, tell me if I'm crazy. I never understood showmanship. Never understood it.
oh, let's not
Yeah,
go. Don't
Terry.
talk to me about showmanship, because I actually started a Facebook page many years ago when I was training and stuff, because all my customers, they love the showmanship. I don't like the showmanship. First of all, you have to get up early. You know, we could be sleeping. We're going to be here till midnight, so we're going to have to get up at 6 a.m. So
you're standing in that ring. You're standing in that ring for like 3 hours with your horse. Looking perfect.
So I started a Facebook page, and it's still out there. It says, "Friends don't let friends do showmanship." So all of my customers know I don't like the showmanship. I think I do, but I don't like the trail. That's just me personally. But I'll judge it. I think I'm fair with any class I judge. That's just me. If I was going to give up my judges cards and just go to an amateur, showmanship would not be in my forte. I would probably become a dressage lady.
Yeah, wear the tight pants.
Yep. I wore the tight pants.
Yeah. So, but did you say you didn't like trail?
Right.
Why? I like trail, and I've only done one trail class at the Midwest Horse Fair with AJ. No, it was Albert. It was a Frisian, actually. Never mind, not AJ. Why not trail? It's hard.
Because the trail courses that I grew up doing were a lot different than the ones now. The ones now are a lot of just going over poles and logs and everything else. Before, when our club put on what they call the Fall Roundup in Madison, we had a show, we had trail, we brought in live chickens. They had to walk past live chickens in a cage. We had a bridge.
I did too.
We had a bridge, and a guy had those fake rattlesnakes that were motion censored. So when you go over the bridge, the snakes would rattle.
I didn't have that.
Like, and then we had like the rain slicker you had to put on or off, or
no, I had the plastic stripy things that you have to walk through.
That's more like an obstacle, right?
But then I had to get off, walk through a cardboard box, and I couldn't hold on. Well, they could, but they penalized you. But I was like, no, my horse is trained. And she stood there. I ran through. Well, I crawled through, crawled back, got on, and ran. Yeah. Okay. Stephanie's getting after me. We have a question.
Okay.
What's the youngest kiddo you've ever seen barrel race?
My sister did it when she was 4 or 5. We started when we were 4 or 5. We had ponies. Go.
Did they tie her on?
No.
Okay.
My brother, my oldest brother, he was, we had one that was pretty fast and pretty wild. My dad would literally, like, they would get ready close to the gate. My dad would literally throw him on and he would go. And he was probably 7 or 8. And he was awesome. My brother, I could go on for hours about my brother. He did it all. He did the roping, he did the bronc riding, the bull riding, he did the mounted shooting. He was national champion mounted shooting, him and his girlfriend. I could go on about him. He was one of my mentors. He didn't understand the whole pleasure thing, and that was okay, you know, but he respected that it was something that I enjoyed.
So let's pivot briefly. Megan's probably going to reach through the screen and strangle me. What are you doing when you're not showing as far as your own horses? What discipline or breed or what are you up to with your horses?
So I have 17-year-old Appaloosa, Bad Boy Ben. He doesn't like me. He likes little kids. The last time he was shown competitively, a lady I sold a horse to, her horse colicked in the fall. She didn't have time to get a horse in the spring. I said, show him. And my nephew at the time, who was 8, showed him at the county fair. She cleaned house. She went to state. Did not even take him into the pen to warm him up. Went in and did the horsemanship and was grand champion horsemanship. So I just play with him because he has issues. There was a towel hanging by his gate. He would come in, past it, didn't even bother him to get his food. Turning out, there's a towel there. It wasn't there. And he wouldn't go past the towel. So somehow the towel ended up on the ground. Again, came in, didn't bother him, went out. There's a towel on the ground. I convinced him it's okay. He was eating grass standing on the towel. And I just purchased what everyone tells you not to do, sight unseen, a really nice 6-year-old roan. And she has a few issues, but we're working through them. And so, sweetest horse in the whole wide world, unless you want to clip her. I would trust her with my mom, who is 86, to ride her, but not to clip her. And I feel sorry because she's been shown a lot, so that she's had to have been clipped. But you turn on the clippers and she'll run backwards to the other end of the barn. So it's just a work in progress. She's only 6, so that's still like a baby in dressage years.
What's the goal with her?
I'll just show her and to have fun. I'm having fun with her. She's
Anything in particular? Western? You gonna jump?
Western? No. My jumping days are over. My jumping days are over.
I can see you event. You don't want to run around a cross country course?
I took jumping lessons before, twice.
How about eventing? Gallop that cross country course. Yeah, you do a little dressage and then a little stadium.
No. This body would not look good in those breeches anymore.
At least they're allowed to have the inflation vest at the cross country in case you come off. You inflate like the Goodyear tire guy, and then you just, instead of going flat, you actually bounce. Megan's laughing. That's cool. Are you training horses for people, or?
I am not currently. I help a couple people with their horses. I usually go to their place or they come over to where I keep my horses and give them lessons or something. But for the most part, no. I enjoy working with them and stuff, but I don't want to do it full time. It takes a lot of time, and I'm old.
So how many shows do you think you judge a year? Like, do you want a month? Are you gone every weekend?
Oh no, this year I tried to do about one a month. It ended up being about 2 a month. A couple of them were like last minute ones. Like the Iowa County one, their judge was moving out of state, so they called me last minute. All right, I'm happy to help out the 4-H. I when I can, I'd like to help out the youth as much as possible. I think that's the only way we're going to get people and back into it is to get the kids involved.
You think the monetary incentive? So Megan and I watched the Wisconsin Futurity this weekend. It was impressive. Some good payouts on some of those futurity classes. Do you think, you talked about Illinois Open shows having paybacks for classes. Do you think there's any way to incentivize? That's not even the right word, but shows anymore? Even with like we talked to Pam Bound, who obviously runs an amazing facility and does an amazing amount of horse shows for her barrel racing crew. And, she gives back a lot. It's impressive. And, those guys, you can win some good money at those shows.
But they have higher entry fees and stuff also. And she gets a lot of sponsors and stuff like that. I don't think the kids that show at the open shows are so into the monetary as they are the prizes. And I'm not talking trophies. They want stuff. They want, t-shirts, blankets for their horses, jackets, halters, brushes, things that they can use.
Yeah, the quarter horse, I have friends that show in the quarter horses and they could care less about ribbons. It's points.
Right.
But,
right.
We went to Arabian Regional. We went to that, Saddlebred Futurity, and oh my God, beautiful ribbons, really cool stuff. And, you go, you put your trainer goes, you put your, stall decor up and you're hanging your ribbons.
Yep.
Okay, I got a question. So in 2019, you were the horse person of the year for the Wisconsin State Horse Council. How did that happen? And what did that award mean to you?
It happened because I was nominated by someone anonymously, and then the nominations go to their committee and they vote on them, and people write in little why this person should be horse person of the year and so on and so forth. It meant a lot to me. It was the first time my whole family came and saw me do anything. I mean, I was getting the award, but my brother drove 2 hours just to watch me get this award. It, and you're not, you don't know necessarily that you're nominated. You don't know who's voting for you. So, to me, that means that I must be making an impact,
I came to watch you.
I know you did.
I mean, I didn't have as far to watch or travel,
right.
But I mean, come on, I was cheering you on. I was like,
yeah. You just liked it because you had the horse person of the year cleaning your stalls. That's how good you are.
Yeah, I thought it was just really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that you were awarded that and recognized, because I think you're an unsung hero, right? Like all the things that you do for our industry, I think it's huge. So thank you.
So Megan, I might have actually been sitting on the horse council, and I could have been one of the ones voting for Terry.
Could be.
Good job, Stephanie. You
pretty sure I was on the horse council back then.
That's so cool. See, it comes full circle.
Yep.
I do remember some super secret voting for horse person of the year. I do
Yep.
remember that. And
Oh,
horse of the year.
that is so cool. So,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to the next generation of horsemen?
Just get out there and do it. You know, even if you fail, you struggle the first time, you know, and don't, as an experienced horseman, if you see someone struggling, go and offer them even some words of encouragement. Hey, maybe try this, or do you mind if I give you a couple pointers? If they say yes, give them a couple. As young people, don't be afraid to reach out to someone. You know, hey, I'm struggling here. Could you help me? Would you be willing to help me? 90%. The other thing I would say to the young people, go to the shows, go to the breed shows, go to the dressage shows, go to the, and I'm not talking necessarily the breed shows here. I'm talking to the big shows. Go to the world shows where you see the people, and don't watch the classes. Watch the warm-up pens, because that's where you're going to see, and you're going to pick up a ton. Oh, that might work for me. Or you might see something that'll go, that definitely not going to work for me. But I would say just keep going at it, because sooner or later you'll get there. You don't know if you're good until you do it. And again, don't be afraid to reach out to people, you know, even if it's, you know, someone that you've never met, may have heard of, or it's just around the corner from you. Hey, you know, I'm struggling here. Do you mind helping me a little? Chances are he's going to say, sure. Most trainers, they're not afraid to give you what they know. They're more than happy to share their knowledge with you, because that also makes them feel good.
Absolutely. Words of advice there. Good stuff. Megan, do you got any more questions?
No. Terry, do you have any other words of wisdom? I think that's awesome.
Nope.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun watching the makeup pen, the warm-ups. You learn a lot. Megan was asking questions at the Saddlebred show.
I have only one more words of wisdom.
Oh, God.
Have fun.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. You can still be a trainer and still have fun doing it.
That's a good point, because I recognized about 6 years ago I wasn't having fun anymore, and I went, what's the problem? And yeah, it should be fun. I'm having a blast with Barn Besties.
Yep, whatever it is.
Yeah, we've met some amazing people. I got Mumsy here who says, thank you, Terry, for your wisdom and kindness.
Thanks, Mumsy. I miss you.
Yeah. And then
I miss watching her beat on those buckets in the middle of winter when it was 20 below and she's taking the hammer.
That sounds like Mumsy.
I wasn't going to mess with her.
No, you better not mess with Mumsy. She'll run you over with her green lawnmower.
We've also got a comment from Erica. She says, tell Terry Tyler wants a lesson with his Uncle Terry.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He doesn't want to ride a pony. We already went round and round with that. He doesn't want to ride
horse lessons with his Uncle Terry.
He wants to ride a cow, maybe, but not a horse. He loves his cows.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's going to be the bull rider.
No, he's going to be the tractor driver.
All right.
Well, that's fun too.
We need our farmers.
There you go. Yep.
Please be a farmer.
He's just like his grandpa and his dad.
Aww.
Put them on a tractor and they're good to go.
Well, this has been awesome, Terry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks everybody watching and asking all the good questions. We appreciated that.
And if anyone wants to hire you as a judge, how do they get in contact with you?
You can find me on Facebook. Otherwise, if you go to the Wisconsin Horse Council directory, all my information is in there. Email, phone number.
Perfect.
We
Cool.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Well,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
So Thank you for your time. See, this
You
was
bet.
fun. It's always fun to hear stories and to learn.
Who do I
all the good
send?
things.
Who do I send the bill to? Megan,
Megan.
or Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Megan.
Okay. Oh, darn it! I should have held out for more then.
Yes. I'm just a lowly horse trainer.
Oh, right.
Stephanie.
No, I'm just a homeless person.
Oh.
Look at Megan. See? Yep, that's good. This is fun. I love hearing the stories. I love doing these lives and hearing stories. I think it's just so much fun to hear. We all seem to have such similar backgrounds and stories. They're just so fun.
It's all about community, developing community, and we're not alone. We got to work together to keep our horses and our industry.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great night. Right? Hit the subscribe, right, Megan?
Good night.
Thank you.
Terry. Good night, everybody.
Bye, Terry.
Bye.
Bye, Terry.
Bye.